Today's show is sponsored by Earth Friendly Products. For over 40 years, Earth Friendly Products brought you the greenest home products for all your family needs. Learn more at ecos.com. That's ecos.com. Now let's get to the show. Today's show is...
What's your thoughts on government cover-ups or covert societies attempting to control humanity? Do you believe in ancient astronauts, intergalactic communication, or extraterrestrial visitations? Ever had an experience with disembodied spirits or the paranormal universe? Are these subjects fact or fiction? Each week, Tony and Eddie explore these unbelievable realities and beyond. Exclusively on Truth Be Told.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Truth Be Told with Tony and Eddie, where we believe in experience becomes truth. I'm your host, Tony Sweet, and joining me now in studio, your other host, world-renowned psychic, Eddie Connor.
Hi, Tony. Hi, everybody. Today, we're going to do a psychic spiritual salon. Our two guests are Therese Sanderson and Psychic Dave. Therese is a spiritual healer. She connects with the angels around you in order to help you better understand your life path and to also help you figure out what is stopping you from moving forward. Almost instantly, she can communicate in the shorthand of someone who has known you for years. Therese easily recalls with uncanny accuracy personal details of your life and almost immediately seems to understand what you really need. Once she gets you up on her healing table, you relax into a whirl of mantras as she takes you through your emotional mires, pinpoints their source, and helps you face them and send them packing.
David began giving readings as a teenager when his mother gave him his first tarot card deck. His readings reflect his knowledge and deep insight into human nature. He speaks with confidence in his years of experience and wisdom have brought.
That's wonderful. Now, Psychic Dave tempers his readings with humor, warmth, and kindness. His intense love for assisting those who seek his counsel drives him to be as accurate, direct, and as honest as psychically possible.
And David has appeared on the national syndicated television show Beyond with James Van Prague and was a regular panelist on Time Warner's Perspectives.
Everyone, please put your hands together and welcome to the studio our spiritual healer, Therese Sanderson, and our clairvoyant and medium, Psychic Dave. Yay! Hi, everybody. How are you doing?
Hi. Wonderful.
So let me tell you how dedicated they are. They're fighting the 100-degree heat, Friday traffic in L.A., the parking deck from hell. But it's okay because we have two people with angels by their side.
Mercury retrograde. Don't forget about that.
That's right, Mercury retrograde.
Feeling that all week.
Which for the Mercury retrograde virgins simply means that the planet Mercury is running in reverse, which botches transportation and communication.
Yeah, traffic circulation, computers. So those of you going, what's wrong with my email? Why is my phone not working? Why, anything that's basically computer-oriented, which is, in the first world, everything. I know, so now we're filled with our first world problems today.
And the Pope is like ripping through New York as we speak.
Oh, yes,
So speaking of more stuff botched up as far as traffic goes, but he's doing his spiritual work and like bringing light onto the earth plane. So I'm going to start with you, Therese.
Okay.
Tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what you do as a spiritual healer.
Okay. Well, I work with the angelic realm, and they work with me. And this is something that is a gift that I've had my whole life. Of course, as my life progressed, they've taught me everything I know, and they taught me how to do healing work. They taught me even psychology in a strange sort of way, but they've taught me that. And so when I work with people, I tend to, I always tell people I let the angels guide the session, and I help people to transform their lives, really, in a multitude of ways. So it's very deep, it's very transformational, it's very spiritual, it's very psychological.
Yeah. How many years have you been doing this?
Professionally, almost 20 years now.
That's crazy.
Long time.
It doesn't feel like 20 years, though, does it?
No, it doesn't.
And how far along were you in the work until it was that you got to where you were so comfortable just letting the angels guide the session that it was like breathing? Because when I first started, I was a little insecure. I wanted everybody to be happy, and I would second guess sometimes.
Right.
So I'd give them 7 predictions.
Right.
When did you finally get in that flow where it's ebb, flow, ask, receive, direct, guide?
Well, when I first started channeling, I started practicing with friends and, people close to me. But it was something I always trusted. And it just is, the way I explain it, it's almost like a portal way opens up and all this energy and light and angels come through. And I always just had a strong, strong confidence with it. But of course I had insecurities and, other ways with the work. But yeah, and then I just learned and continued to learn, and it's just amazing.
Wow. And you can tell that you enjoy it.
I do. I love it.
And for people who don't know, Therese is one of the top 5 psychics, mediums in LA under the cbslocal.com.
Oh, great.
That's how I found you, actually.
Yeah.
Now, I've been to Rebecca. I've been to Fleur. Now I have gotten a chance to meet you. And there's one other lady. I can't think of her name.
Oh,
But
I know.
Yeah, the blonde.
Okay, blonde.
Yeah,
Yes.
the cute blonde. She's like, hey, word. So she's the only person I haven't met in the
Okay.
group yet. So it's fun to come together and connect.
Right.
Yeah,
It
so
is.
thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Now, Psychic Dave, we know how you got started.
Okay.
He's like, whoops.
Yeah. So now how old were you whenever your mom gave you that tarot deck?
I was like 13, 14, I think 13, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, now being a medium is not my forte. It's not my number one thing, right?
Same here.
But, Eddie and I have chatted about that before, and it seems like in the last few days it's like picked up. So this morning, I felt like my mom was in the room with me, and for her to come to me alone, like that's a lot of times I think it's my wishful thinking. I really hope that she's here, that kind of thing. And so I thought, I really wish you were here. If it's really you here visiting me, tell me something that I would be expecting you to say. And she says, I can't sing. And I thought, oh, that's right, my mom can't sing. So I thought, okay, my mom was here.
That's great.
Yeah. So then I actually had to buy a vehicle during a Mercury retrograde, which is not what you are supposed to be doing, which is why I would like at the dealership for like 5 hours. Right?
Oh, my Lord.
So I knew that the moon would be no longer void of course at like 12:43. So you could sign the documents after 12:43. There's a couple days during the retrograde that you can do this, right? So, but we were talking earlier than that, and we found the vehicle. They're making the offer. Then I'm like, okay, Mom, if you're really here, make this obvious to me that I should choose this vehicle and go ahead and everything is going to be okay. And the guy goes, I've dropped your payment, and the payment is $420 a month. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm also a screenwriter, and I wrote a movie originally called Hansel and Gretel and the 420 Witch. So I thought that was a good sign.
That's a great sign.
Yeah.
That's
Now it's
funny.
been renamed in the American market as Hansel and Gretel Get Baked. So for those of you who are not interested in me as a psychic, you can see my movie. So now that was a total offshoot, a total non sequitur, but it's it's Eddie and Tony. So
Well, Eddie, I want to ask real quick, that's very unusual, especially back in the day, for a mother to buy her son at 13.
In the South.
In the South. So,
yeah, good question. She was a big fan of Edgar Cayce.
oh,
And
okay.
she'd read all of his books. And she used to tell me from the time I was really young, 3 or 4 years old. In fact, she used to play like psychic games. She would hold up a regular playing deck of cards and say, okay, what card am I looking at now? Or there was a game that kids played called Husker Du. And it was a card game, and you were supposed to match like all the bolts and all the screws and all the nails, but the cards were all face down on the ground.
Right.
So she would play that game with me to kind of like enhance, the gift. And she always said, well, your soul's from Atlantis, so, just know that. And
So she was
try to live your
psychic,
life.
too.
Yes. She had some degree of psychic power. So my sisters were like, why isn't my soul from Atlantis? And my mom was like, because it's not. So.
And he's my favorite.
Yeah. Well, yes. Because my mom's favorite name was David. And so I had 2 older brothers who are not named David.
Oh.
So she's like,
And so how many years have you been doing your readings?
Professionally, I've been doing them 16. But I have been doing readings since I was 13, so that's been a long time. 40 years.
Wow.
God, it doesn't seem like 40 years.
Wow. No, it sneaks up on you.
Oh, my God, does it ever?
And so, Therese, now, my mom passed in January, and David's mom passed a few years ago.
Yeah, 10 years now.
It doesn't feel like 10 years.
11 years, something like that, yeah.
And I can remember her coming to your movie premiere.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, I can remember that. And it was in a big theater, and it was just so sweet to see your mom and some of your family there. I thought that was sweet.
Aw.
And I think of my mom, as you do, as also a spirit guide and or an angelic presence. What's your belief or your philosophy on that?
Well, what I've been taught and I've seen, I first started getting visions and visitations by the angels and things. So I was, clairvoyant. But then, my other gifts started opening up too. But the angels are really specifically created from God, and they don't have free will.
They don't have free will.
No. So what they do, they're a whole species, you could say, and they're pure beings of, that just carry out God's will. So they cannot interfere with our human will. They're only sent to guard and protect us and guide us and help suggest, to us and help us, on our path with what we want to do. They can't interfere with, our free will. They don't have personal agendas.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is new to me.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, it's amazing. So when they're around, they have a specific reason why they're around somebody,
So they would be like holding the space?
Yes, and bring in positive energy or spiritual energy that has certain qualities to it to help that person.
So if I was vibrating in a raggedy-ass, tired situation where I'm feeling a little crabby because there's a Prius in front of me on the freeway.
Yes.
And let's say I was...
And you're making this up.
Yes. This never happened to me ever.
Ever.
I never had to go love and light one single time on the 101 coming over here. And
that's when you pray the most.
I've learned that's not good, though, to pray when I'm... a 2 on a scale from 1 to 10. So if I'm vibrating at a 2 or 3 on a scale from 1 to 10,
right,
and I'm in one of those crabby ass places,
right,
and let's say I am praying, I am asking, I do really want to feel better. The angels that would come in would simply hold the space of a 10.
Yes.
And hopefully that would be enough to jar me out of my funk.
Exactly. You would feel that energy.
Okay, I would feel it, and that's how they would participate in without having free will to help me hold the space for myself.
Yes, and you could ask a specific prayer or intention. They're there, but they like it when we ask them to help.
Yeah, because we have to ask.
Exactly. And other things, they're there because, you're going through something and your soul has some kind of agreement and they come in to help you, But when you ask, they can come in and you can say, help me let go of this anger, or help me let go of this fear. Please just bring in peace, or bring in lightness, or just lighten up the energy here, please, angels. And you'll feel it, a subtle feeling around you, and then okay, this feels nice.
Now, I work with spirit guides. I know David works with spirit guides as well as angels. Do you work with spirit guides in your spiritual work as well?
Yes, like a person's spiritual guides will come in too and assist as well in the sessions.
And so what's your philosophy on the spirit guides versus the angels? Angels hold the space. They have no free will. Their agenda is under the umbrella of God's direction,
yes,
as you say. And then spirit guides are?
They're, you could say, beings they have some level of mastery, and so they're there as teachers, and they can also hold energy as well. The thing about the angels that's so amazing is they're the workhorses of energy. Wow. They're able to dispense large amounts of energy or help lift out old energy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you guys find that some angels have a really good sense of humor and some of them are just kind of like, bitch, please?
I know they have a sense of humor, and others are firm. For
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, really?
They're firm. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Are they different type of angels, or
Yes.
are they okay?
Yeah, there's just a multitude of different types of angels and archangels, and they all have different purposes. And
So the firm angels are who, and the sense of humor? Are they? I mean, do they have names for them? Or
Yeah,
no?
they're the aerobic champions of the non-physical. Very, very firm.
Yes, I like that.
well, you could say the warrior angels are very firm.
I'm
Archangel,
sure, yeah.
Archangel Michael and the warrior angels, and they have a sense of humor too, but they're very firm and direct.
And
That's it.
Go ahead.
My guides are really snarky.
Oh,
They
really?
will say the snarkiest things to me. Like I'll be like,
In your
"Oh,"
head.
in my head. Yeah, they talk to me in my head, and I'll be telling somebody something, and they'll be like, "Oh, well, you didn't even know that," or stuff like that. I'm like, "Oh," and they'll go like, "Well, you don't know everything," I'm like, "Okay, bitch." All right, I stand corrected.
Spoken like a true smartass.
Yep, my mom, after she had passed, she hadn't been over there more than a few months. I was doing a reading for a friend, and my mom stepped into the room like through the doorway, stepped into the room. She crossed her arms and went, "So full of shit, Edward," about the person that was sitting there talking to me. And I was like, "Mom." She's like, "They are." And then she stepped out of the room, and I was like, "Mom."
Yeah.
She was right, though.
Yep.
So if I say Metatron, what do you guys think when I say Metatron? I know he's some kind of a master something, right?
The mouthpiece of God. So
Wow.
I would say he's like the second in command. Like it's God and then Metatron in terms of hierarchy,
Yeah.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
He's very much in charge and oversees the other archangels. And
That's firm, Tony.
That is form.
yes.
I like that.
Yeah, he is very firm.
Wow. So what do you think is your greatest gift as a spiritual healer? Meaning when they're on the table, I think Sarah, the way she described this in the full article was you're just in this wonderful, warm, expansive space. You're on the table. You have all of these healing oils and fragrances, and she's just in la la land with the mantras and stuff. What do you think is your greatest gift as a spiritual healer?
That I'm able to see and get right to the point of something where the person needs to look at something in themselves that's blocking them or has hurt them or is causing them pain or fear. And I just see where to go. The angels show me. And, of course, just it's like I make it fun and loving and, just a very peaceful, accepting experience, too,
Wow.
Because sometimes people have to look at hard things,
Oh,
very
God.
difficult things. And, you have to
Most
lighten it
people
up.
don't like to, and most people don't
Exactly.
like change.
Right.
As a reader, David, what do you think is your greatest strength as a reader?
I tend to think it's future forecasting, what's coming up. Now, I know that I am not 100% with people.
Oh, well, nobody is.
Yeah, nobody is. And that's because there are way too many variables. And what I have learned along the way is to ask how the person will mess it up.
Oh.
Because you can tell them what's happening, this is what I see, and then sometimes people just do something completely out of left field because they call back and say, well, I didn't, I broke up with this guy, or this guy broke up with me. And I'm like, what happened? And you go, well, I was sexting with this other guy. What? Well, I was sexting with an old boyfriend, and then he found out. I'm like,
And
why?
he never proposed.
Well, yeah, why were you sexting with the old boyfriend? Well, it just happened, and, like, no. I didn't think to ask. How will it get messed up? Okay, well, that was one. So now I try to ask, is there a way the person will get in their own way?
Go ahead.
Well, there's just that, if you're, meeting somebody, this is, FY, anybody out there in relationship stuff, you get a contact from an old relationship, just say, thanks for the text. Don't engage.
You know what I find for real is, let's say you've been in a relationship for a couple of years and then that relationship dissipates. Then you're in another one and that relationship dissipates. Have you guys not noticed two things? When they're single for a while and then they meet somebody new, they get really excited and their energy is up here, vibrating at a 10 on a scale from 1 to 10. What always happens is somebody from your past that you've had some kissy, licky, licky with is going to pick the phone up and text you because you've reactivated the frequency of intimacy.
Right. And people from the past always try to come around and pull a person back.
Yeah, they do. It's called a rug out from under you.
Right,
Yep.
but it's you're absolutely right. It's because of that high vibration.
Yeah.
And, unless you've cut the cords between you and that loved one, they're still feeding off of you like a psychic vampire. And they just suddenly went, wow, something tastes good over Tony's way. I'm going to give Tony a call, see what he's up to. That's what happens.
Yeah, because it reactivates the molecules and the atoms from the previous relationship, and then it goes all the way down for X number of people, as it were. The other thing that I find is when you do get into a new relationship with somebody else, or you do get the next job or the new job, or you do get a windfall of money, people will still behave in the old pattern. That's why I love that you asked that question, how might they flub this up? Because we all, as humans, have contradiction. I call it butradictions. But isn't it fascinating how it's fun to go in and read those butt blocks and those butradictions?
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You have to.
Yeah, you do have to, because it helps them get out of their own way, hopefully.
Right. Right.
Tell us an experience you guys had during a reading where after the reading was over, you were kind of like, OMFG, this is unbelievable to me. This is why I love what I do.
Oh, I can.
Go ahead.
It happened yesterday. Again, with being a medium. So usually when I say a prayer which unites my energy with the person that I'm going to be reading for, and then I have a section in there about if there's anybody from the other side, now they can come in. They have to leave because I don't like seeing dead people hanging around the house. No, it really freaks me out. So I barely said the prayer, started the prayer, and this husband was in. He was in. He was like, push the door open.
From the other side.
From the other side.
Oh.
Yeah. And started telling her, you have to tell her how much I love her because he died quite unexpectedly. And so then he says, I want you to tell her that, yes, that was me. That was me. I was kissing you. I was hugging you. And so I said, okay, listen. He's here. He loves you, yada, yada, yada. And he wants you to know that he was hugging you, kissing you, and that was him. And she's like, oh, my God, I was going to ask you that question. I felt like he touched me and he kissed me, and I didn't know if it was just me thinking it. And yes, I always go up high voice. So I thought, okay, we got some shit going on today. Good
That's
stuff.
great.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it was really
Wonderful.
fascinating.
As readers and healers and intuitives and that sort of thing, I personally love what we call the evidential information and the specifics. I love it when they tell us things that no one knows but the person sitting in front of you, because you can just think you're making all of this stuff up. However, when you get some specifics from people, or you see that facial expression,
Right.
or they go, I was going to ask you that question, and they show it to you, that's something for me that bridges the reality of invisibility and physicality.
Right.
Do you have,
Absolutely.
do you feel that?
Yes, totally.
So what's an experience you had like that?
Well,
I know it's a different style.
but things do show up, and
Yes.
people, and their relatives, or people on the other side too, or coincidence. They call it coincidence, but we know it's synchronicity
Yeah.
in their life. But for instance, I had a client. Most clients work with me for a longer, a period of time. That came in. It was a woman, and she was very shut down to relationships. Pretty much, well, I don't have a soulmate, and I said, yes, you do. You do. And you're preparing for that. So she was like, okay, I'll just, I'll just listen to you. But, I don't really think that's true. So it was amazing, the timing of it. I think she worked with me maybe 4 months. And by her last session, she had met somebody and instantly fallen in love. And it was her soulmate.
Wow.
But the timing of her last session, her series of sessions, and she was flabbergasted. She was like, I've heard people talk about this. I never thought it could happen to me. So it was pretty amazing, the timing of it.
Well, and don't you find whenever you're working with somebody, we have about 3 or 4 minutes and we get to go to a break, is that right? Have you noticed that what you're doing in that kind of work is they're here, and then they have a session that goes to here.
Right.
They hold it, hopefully.
Right.
And then the next session is here. And what they're doing is bridging out of the old paradigm and up into the new way of thinking and being.
Right.
However, what I have also noticed is, let's say they get here, 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 and here, and now they attracted some cute little person who knows what a G-spot is. And they're up here, and they're all happy and excited. Haven't you noticed they're in it for less than 1 week to 3 weeks, and they start the old behavior?
Yeah.
And so then they need to be reminded not to be down here, but to stay up here.
Right. Right.
Are you guys good at that? Do you enjoy doing that kind of leveraging the frequency and the belief systems?
Well, I tend to help them kind of work through a lot of that, and not go backwards. So I work with them consistently so they don't fall backwards.
Wow.
Yeah. And if some people do, I always, it's usually because they don't want to go forward anymore and they put up a block.
Yeah.
You can tell.
They
You
think
can-
they're being safe and
yeah,
smart.
You can sense that.
Please. Please. What's your favorite way to help people unblock their energy, David?
Well, it's a little technique. It's based on the Sedona technique, which is a releasing technique. And basically, I've just kind of boiled it down to where in my body do I have my block around relationship? Where in my body do I have my desire to have a block around my relationship? See, there's two different things there.
Yes,
Okay.
look at you.
Yeah. So you ask these questions. You ask, and then it can be anywhere in their body. And then I help them to release that by, now I usually see it like a gray-green cotton candy. So I'm pulling it out of their energy field and I'm throwing it out the window. my poor neighbors. But anyway, you should see actually the fence outside my house. It's like falling down. It's tough where I throw all this negative energy out. So anyway, help pull people out that way. Now I'm explaining to them what I'm doing. So this is a take home. This is something you could do at home.
Yeah.
And then after you've released something, you release on a couple different topics around the same thing. So where in my body do I have my self-hate around? Blah, blah, blah. And I usually use self-hate because it jars people. Okay. Yeah. And then you can say, where in my body do I have my dislike around something? Because you might have a different energy. Mm-hmm. You don't want to make yourself crazy by spending, more than a couple minutes doing it, because then it's like, I should be watching Scandal, which I should be. So then once you've released, then you bring in pure source energy. Now, I tell them to whatever color light comes in will be the correct healing energy. I often like to bring in the Virgin Mary's energy, so the divine feminine energy, which is like a light blue light to me, and let it, fill up the person's body and replace that energy. And then you're saying, fill yourself with some love, confidence, self-confidence, whatever the opposite may have been of what you're releasing from. And then you imagine that you're being a blue light, like a cobalt blue, is suction wrapping itself completely around you, so it can hold in all the energy work that we've just done.
Wow.
And then, drink some water.
And then drink some water.
Awesome. And give me your credit card.
Oh, my God.
All right. Well, I think we're going to take just about a 15-second break. This is going to be one of our sponsors, and we hope you guys go and support. So we'll be right back, and I'm Tony Sweet.
I'm Eddie Connor. When we get back, Psychic Dave's going to do a little impromptu Petite Flower Princess Giver Goddess molecular reading for Tony and I.
Oh, I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Today's show is sponsored by Adventures Unlimited Press. Take your mind on a literary journey and go to adventuresunlimitedpress.com to purchase books from our famed experts featured right here on Truth Be Told. That's adventuresunlimitedpress.com. Now, back to the show.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Truth Be Told with Tony and Eddie. I'm Eddie Connor.
And I'm Tony Sweet.
Today we're doing our infamous Psychic Spiritual Salon. We have Therese Sanderson in the house.
Thank you.
And we have Psychic Dave in the house.
Howdy.
Now, Therese is a spiritual healer. She works with angels and she works with spirit guides. I've known Dave for years. Dave and I used to have a radio show over at LA Talk.
Oh, that's probably where I remember you.
Yeah.
Many years ago.
Yeah, I just realized that. I just now put one and one together. See how slow I am? I am slow. But it's okay.
Special
ed. Be nice. I'm sensitive. and David also David also works with spirit guides and angels, and both of you I know work with master teachers as well. And we all do healing work, and of course everybody does it in a completely different way. Right. It's so funny whenever I look at you, Therese, I feel like yours is like beautiful and soft and warm and friendly, and like I'm being sucked away into a cow. God, take me away. Rainbows and sunshine.
No, there's swords from the angels too.
She's like, no, there are some swords too.
That's right.
And so, Tony, what do you have a quick question, psychic question for Psychic Dave?
Well, let's see.
As tight and specific as possible.
All right. So business-wise, I own Universal Broadcasting Network. Psychically, what do you see as in the next few months or 6 months where it's going to be going?
Do you already have two different networks? Like two different channels, something like that?
We do have
okay.
two. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was the first thing. I felt like you were diversifying with your network base. Okay, so if you already have two, there's possibility of three, and I see that it's a radio TV thing. Some of the TV things, the podcasting, television stuff, seems like it's going to be expanding. 2016, midpoint between 2016 and 2017, there's a lot more going on for you. It also feels like there's some travel. I don't know if this is going to be related to your business or not.
I'll take it either way.
Now, it could be related to the business, like I'm expanding my thing, or if I were to go to a seminar or a weekend for internet radio and TV and how to do, it could be stuff like that.
That'd be great.
And just FYI, Hawaii is also in your energy field. Now, I have to say Hawaii sometimes is Cabo San Lucas. I don't know why. I guess they look alike. But
Same here.
Now, I was thinking about this earlier, though, for you when I looked over at you and thought, have you written a book, or do you want to write a book, or what's the book thing around you?
Not really a book. More of a screenplay.
Okay. Well, I heard Will Be Done. Okay, so that's good. But the 3 and the 5 are on that. So anywhere between the years 3 to 5 years.
Oh, that's perfect.
Now, I would love to have bet it between the years 2013 and 2015. We haven't got much time left in 2015. Now, the 3 and the 5 can also represent the months between March and May.
Oh, okay.
Now, I feel like the way the screenplay starts to go, when it starts to get out there, there's a big surge, like, oh my God, it's happening, and then nothing happens. And then you're like, oh my God, why did I even bother writing this thing? And then things come back up again. Okay, then they dip down again. And then it feels like somebody with a little bit of a bigger name, bigger reputation, I'll put them in the B level, okay? So not like Angelina or Brad, okay? But feels like, wow, this is really great, I want to take it. And then they ask you to make a big change in the script, like changing, a man to a woman or a woman to a man, something like that. And you're going to be like, oh, but this is the really way I want to see it. I believe you should make the change, because I believe the change will then open up possibilities.
Open
now,
up the doors.
I'm using this as the example. So it would be a change where you go, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. It could be a change of location. Okay. For example, I had a screenplay that was set in California, and then in order to get it produced, we reset it in Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay.
So then when I went to Charleston and researched, it was like, oh my God, it's perfect for Charleston. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's something like that for you.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, that's something it's always been in the back of my mind.
Okay. And just FYI, there's a couple of dead people hanging out behind you right now. Okay. And they feel like they're often here. So it makes me feel like they may have been old performers, old people related to this, the Sunset Gower studio. Yeah. So, but they're drawn to the energy of the bright lights and the cameras and that kind of stuff, to you and to Eddie. Okay. And there was somebody behind me the whole time. I was like, who is that? And now being a medium is not my number one thing. But whoever this person is behind me, they feel like they're Charlie Chaplin or somebody of that, silent era. Okay. Who just loves being in here and never misses your show because your energy is so high. Okay.
Oh, great.
And,
they're welcome.
Feels a little vampiristic, so I think they're here because they're totally digging the energy, and you're feeding off it in some way. But that's what they do. I mean, in my experience, that people that have this is not you. I'm just using this as the example. People that have an addiction. Okay, spirits that have addiction issues can be around those people because it feeds their addiction. Now, sometimes people say, I don't know why. I wasn't even hungry, or I wasn't even thirsty. Didn't want to drink. I didn't want to have sex, blah, blah, blah. I was drunk. I had to do it. Okay. It's these spirits that drive them. Okay.
Potato chips.
Well, in some ways, in some ways, like, I don't want it, but because some spirit is around you that does, and they have your ear or they have your energy. So whoever's ever behind me
eat something salty.
Loves the attention, of being in front of people or being. So they're drawn to that.
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, they're welcome anytime. We love having.
Well, it is a
paranormal
show.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, thank goodness. I'm like, what? And anything that comes to you that you feel like you want to share, you're totally welcome to share.
Okay.
By the way, I should have said that up front.
Okay. Thank you.
And I would just love to ask one question. I am really flowing a lot of energy toward a TV show, and I get close, and then something happens. I get close. And I am really curious to see, A, how much closer I am, and B, if it does look like it'll come into manifestation.
Well, if you're asking me, and then I'll jump in.
Ahead.
Please
Go
do.
ahead.
So the number 16 jumps out. So year 2016. The beginning of the year seems like there's a lot of energy around it. It could be we're shooting a pilot. We're talking about stuff. We're making things happen. And then there's the lull. Okay, the lull while we wait to see whether it gets sold or not. Now, I feel like it has to go to 1, 2, possibly 3 different networks, 3 different places before it finally finds its home. And then you're reshooting a portion of the pilot, okay, to fit whatever the network is going to be, because you have your studio, your production company, your studio, your network.
To get a bigger blouse.
Well, not that. Well, speaking of that, it does feel like you're going to be losing a lot of weight. Okay, now. Intellectually, because I know the film industry, I understand why you could be wanting to lose some weight. But now this is a sign to me, though. I look for the things that are around an event. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So,
touchstones.
Touchstones. Yeah. So the fact that you're losing weight, and it feels like a substantial amount of weight. Okay, because you're aware of how you're going to look on camera. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, 16 to 20 pounds to me is a substantial amount of weight where you would physically look different. So when I see you on it, you physically look different. Now, I might say to you as a friend, are you okay? I mean, you look great and everything.
But I'm used to seeing you eat every hour, so you don't have a blood sugar drop. Are you sure you're okay?
Yeah, right. So there's that. Now, it does feel like there's a co-host coming on, too.
Hercules.
Yeah. So I would think that it's a female co-host.
Oh,
okay?
Tony.
Sure.
So she,
Thank you.
she seems like a contrarian to you. Okay, so maybe like the psychic and the skeptic. You know, it seems like somebody who's kind of like that, who brings maybe a physical world perspective as you're bringing a metaphysical perspective to things. But really sweet. Like I think you guys have a great chemistry together, and so there will be a couple of different chemistry reads with different people like that for you.
Awesome.
Okay? Now the thing is, because I know you and I know you're a lovely person, you're gonna love every one of these women that you meet. Okay, because they're all great. But your producers are like, oh, no, it's that one. And you're like, oh, why? Why? Because. Now, because when we look at you on camera, we can see the synergy. Okay, we can see the chemistry.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so, and that's what you'll need for a visual medium.
I like that. For a visual medium.
Ba-dum-bum.
A small medium at visual medium. Isn't that fun?
It is.
I love that. Thank you.
Congratulations
Thank
to
you.
you.
You're welcome.
In
It's
advance, congratulations.
Yeah. Well, congratulations in advance to you.
You know.
Hey there.
I know.
Now tell us.
Call me an empire.
Tell us how you do your sessions. I knock on the door. You open the door. I go into your office. Tell me what happens to me after that.
Well,
I just realized how that sounded.
well, it's, everybody's different. So,
Yeah.
if sometimes when a person comes to see me for the first time, usually the angels will actually start working on them before they come.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so we start putting spiritual protection around them and getting them to, calm down, even start working on things. So sometimes I start by talking to a person and I ask what their intention is, what they're wanting in their life. And usually we won't work on that. We'll work on other things that have, are deeper down that actually are blocking, what they want.
Okay.
And sometimes people do come in with a very specific thing where they do want guidance on that, or they want to know why, this is going on in their life. And then from there, I can put them on the healing table, and I don't have to touch them at all. I don't work where I touch their body at all. So I'm working just, with the etheric energies. And
explain what etheric energy is for virgins.
For virgins.
Well, it's energy that you can see with your third eye, your inner eye, your spiritual eye.
Yeah.
And it has feeling, it has color, it has
Life.
texture. Yeah, life.
It's real.
It's life force energy. And there's a multitude of billions of types of energy that the angels work with.
What's the type of etheric energy thing you saw in someone's energy field during a session that made you go, wow?
Oh, wow. There's so many things. Light, the Holy Spirit coming in and replenishing something in them. Their soul energy coming in bursts of energy, or sometimes it looks like a higher, like if you were to see them physically, but a idealized version of them. I usually see people's essence, or more of their soul self or their higher self. Blessings from the angels, God, Jesus. It's just, it's so hard to describe.
Right. Well, because it's all happening up here and out there, as it were.
But symbols, so many symbols that the angels work with symbols.
Why do you guys think some people come into the earth plane and they have 2 raggedy angels? And some people come into the earth plane, they got like 50 and 2 more bus loads of bystander angels just to make sure everything's. What is that?
Their purpose.
Okay.
Yeah, their purpose. People who tend to have a lot of angels usually have a big purpose, or something that's very important for them to do. And other people, everybody's purpose is sacred,
Right.
But it's it just depends. Some people need a lot of angels around them, or they've got a lot going on, and they need, the angels are working through them.
Do you guys think
That's
that
what
is
I'm
a kind of a contract we have with our non-physical self, or our council of elders, etc., our pre-birth planning groups before we're born?
I do. Go
I
ahead.
absolutely do. I believe that when we're in the Akashic Records and we're deciding this, what we're going to experience in this lifetime. Okay, so the Akashic Records, just FYI, for those of you who are virgins.
Because you knew I was going to ask.
Yeah, absolutely, I know. Is the record of your soul, your entire soul, every existence you ever had, whether it's been on this plane, another plane, a parallel universe. It's your soul's, the record of your soul. So if you're in the Akashic Records and you're thinking, ooh, I want me some of this, I want me some of that, I want to be in here, I want to do that, and you put the party platter out, and you're piling on all the experiences that you want to have.
And by the way, they don't always have to be the party platter experiences.
Right.
I mean, you can be like, I'll be gay, and I'll live in the South, and I'll be psychic, and I'll be raped, and I'll be... It can be that.
It can be that. That's the party platter to me. Or you could go... Or you could go, you know what? I'm just going to take a bread plate, and I'm just gonna be working on peace, or on harmony in this lifetime.
Yeah.
So only working on a few things. Now, somebody's taking the party platter, they're having a party, so they need those angels coming in to dip those little weenies in the sauce for them and to help them out. That's how I kind of view it.
That's a great perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Food.
I love me some food, child.
South and Midwest.
Now, David, tell me the name of your movie. What's the title of the newest movie you're working on?
It's called Love Is All You Need.
And this is why I want to ask about it. It keeps coming up around you. And tell the audience, if you don't mind, what it is. Because I think of angels as love, spirit guides as love, the universe is unconditional love. The soul, as C.S. Lewis says, you don't have a soul. You are a soul. You have a body.
Right.
I love that.
That just sums it all up, doesn't it?
Yes.
You don't have a soul. You are a soul. And I feel like this project and the work you do as well, Therese, it is about getting into the soul while you're in this body. And so tell the audience what it's about.
Well, it's based on a short film that I wrote with Kim Rocco Shields, the director. The short film is about a reverse world where the normal thing to be is homosexual and to be abnormal is considered heterosexual. Now, everybody says, so how do they get more of them? They have a breeding season. So that we built into it. So then it's about a young girl, a middle school girl who falls in love with a boy. And then she's ostracized and bullied and picked on via Facebook and things like that. So that went viral. It had over 46 million views. It's been translated into 16 languages. We've had numerous stories written about us online and in other media. So anyway, because of the popularity of the short film, we gained the money to do the feature film, which is kind of like a crash version of bullying. Yeah. It's still set in this reverse world, and we still have that young girl storyline, but it is being affected by a college-age storyline. Okay, and there are other aspects of bullying that are intermixed in all of this. Okay, so the two stories are told out of time sequence, meaning the college story has happened first, and it's affecting what's happening in the middle school girl's life. But we're seeing the stories told concurrently. So one is being told forward, and one is kind of being told backward. Okay, so it's a mixed version of stuff. And it stars Brianna Evigan and Jeremy Sisto, Anna Ortiz, and Elizabeth Rom. So a lot of big TV people. Although I have to say, when I was on set, I had a couple pictures taken with Anna and with Jeremy and stuff. And there was a young girl named Kyla Kennedy who plays the young girl. And Kyla was on The Walking Dead. Well, my Facebook lit up because, oh my God, you're with Kyla Kennedy? I didn't know I had so many friends who were fans of The Walking Dead.
Fascinating.
Yeah. So we're finishing up. In fact, I think they're finishing like today, tomorrow.
Wow.
Literally finishing every last piece of it. And then we're hoping to get into some of the major festivals and, get it out into the world.
It's a nice new perspective. It's a new spin on it to wake people up to different aspects of love and light and unconditionality, I find. And don't you both find that even though you're an intuitive, you all are also a writer and a director and all of the other stuff that comes with it. Even though you're intuitive, you have all of these other gifts that are wired together.
Right.
Do you get bored easily too?
Yes.
Good. What are some of your hobbies?
Art, exercise.
Oh, yeah. I like exercise too. You'll see me run to the refrigerator in a minute. What else do you like to do? Art, exercise, and?
Animals, my dog, horses. Yep.
Yeah,
the outdoors, hike.
Everything comes back to us to things that keep the soul brighter and more connected in community and unity with other people, I find.
True.
Yeah. So what's the next big project or thing you have on your plate, Therese? What's coming up for you so we can have the audience look for you out there?
Okay. Well, I've written a book, and I'm waiting for that to, the final stages of it to come together. It's actually a prayer book, and the prayers were given to me by the angels and archangels to help people to know how to specifically ask.
Awesome.
That's
ask them to help.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It's beautiful. I mean, it's channeled. It's not it's totally from them. And I use those in my practice and what I've learned and, from them. So I'm working on that. That's done. But like I said, it's in the, stages of putting that all together.
That takes a minute.
Yep.
You might also consider, just for fun, when it's time, doing now everything's download iPhone. I don't understand it.
I know.
However, a CD and/or the equivalent to that of you speaking the prayers with soft music in the background. Girl, that'll be another seller.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, you'd
That
be a
can
natural at that.
That sounds
iTunes,
beautiful.
here you come.
There you go. What's with you, David? What's coming up next?
Well, Love Is All You Need has been kind of the focus. Rocco and I are looking for a new project to write together because we know that once we kind of get out in the circuit, that'll be one of the questions. What are you guys doing next?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm reading a couple of different books right now to possibly adapt for feature. And then I have a couple of TV show ideas that I'm writing right now and developing. So kind of keeping my fingers in my home remodel. That's actually what I got going on right now.
Oh, Lord. And your kitty children.
And my kitty children. Well, that's the thing you probably notice too, and everybody, that psychic people animals are drawn to them. So I can go to anybody's house, sit down, and they're like, oh my God, my dog never gets on anybody's face like that. Like, I know. Or the cat. Like, they're just drawn. So at home, all the animals are sitting around me. Dwayne's like, are they ever going to come and visit me? I'm like, maybe you should feed them more. Maybe they'll come to you, but you're not as psychic as me, so no, probably not.
If you talk to them telepathically, they'll respond.
Oh, yes, they do.
Yeah, they do. They know. I mean, that's how they operate. So
yeah,
I've trained my dog that way. It's amazing. She'll send me messages, and I'll say, okay, I'll be right there.
No, this is funny because I was looking at Erwin. Now, she's our oldest, and she's the alpha of the house.
Yes.
And when she was younger, I was just coming out of doing a reading on the phone, so I just hung up, and I was looking at her, and I was sending her the picture images. Look at Daddy, look at Daddy, look at Daddy. Nothing. And then she turned at me, and she went, not Daddy. And I went, oh, what? And she went, big one. And I went, oh, what do you call Dwayne? Bigger one. So, but if you saw, Dwayne is 6'4".
Yeah,
He's
he's
tall. So I'm the big one and he's the bigger one. Okay, but that made sense from their perspective.
Yeah.
It's simple.
They're amazing.
There was I had a friend who's an interspecies communicator, and she goes and she's doing her magic with this pet because the pet is a puppy, I think, got really ill, finicky, was acting all really off with the owner. And she goes back and she's like, I will not play with her, meaning I will not play with my owner anymore. I will not come when she calls me to eat until she stops looking at that little box that's flashing in the corner of the room. Mm-hmm. And she's like, what kind of box do you have that flashes? She's like, I don't have a box that flashes. And then the dog was like, sent her a picture of the TV. Back whenever TVs were boxes.
Right.
It's like, I don't understand what her fascination is with the flashing box. And they literally had to re-acquiesce and change their relationship up a little bit.
Yeah. Wow.
And that puppy was ill.
Yeah.
That's right. Because we took a kitten who was born underneath the house, and we bottle fed her from the time she was like 9 days old. Now, she's my little ghetto girl. Okay. Her name is India. And now,
Ghetto girl.
Yeah, she is, because she had a couple of siblings, and she was the survivor. She was going to get whatever milk there was, right?
Eye of the tiger.
So, yes, exactly. So she'll get up and start snuggling with me, and I can swear to God she's saying, why can't it just be us? Just us.
Exactly.
Because we have like 5 other ones
Exactly.
and Dwayne. So I think she's like, no, just us. Just us.
That's hilarious.
That's
That's
true.
cute, though.
So we've been posting your information online the whole time. And really quick, where can we find you guys?
You can find me on Facebook page of Angelic Oasis or angelicoasis.com.
And go to cbslocal.com and type in or Google best psychics mediums in LA. You'll see Therese there too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dave.
PsychicDave.com, Psychic Dave at AOL, and Sepulveda. Oh, I mean, what day of the week? Oh,
That's so funny.
and then you call me.
Yeah, and I think we have the number posted. Is that right?
Yes.
Good. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thanks, you guys. It's
Thank
been a
you
great
guys
show.
so
Thank you.
much.
Absolutely.
The
Thank
Psychic
you.
Spiritual Salon.
Amazing. And thank you for the reading. It was great.
You're very welcome.
And
very welcome.
the third channel is coming, and it is more television oriented.
Oh.
So there you go.
Oh, awesome.
So I was like, well, that's pretty good there. All right. Well, we are going to take a break, and when we come back, we have our next guest. Eddie, who is that?
Readings by Wendy.
Readings
by Wendy.
I'm Tony Sweet.
I'm Eddie Connor.
And this is Truth Be Told with Tony and Eddie on Universal Broadcasting Network. Don't go anywhere. Go get something to drink, maybe a little snacks, maybe that potato chips that spirit's really addicted to, and then come back and enjoy the second hour. Be right back.